YouTube, what's going on? Hope you're having a great day. Thank you for stopping by, and welcome back finally to Courtside Perspective. Oh, I'm happy to be back, and it is trade deadline day. It is currently 3:08 p.m. as I am recording this, and we have a lot of trades to talk about. I'm only going to be talking about the big one right now, which is the James Harden and the Ben Simmons trade. You will see a full recap video sometime today regarding pretty much every trade that actually went down. We got to talk about the big one. So at 1:16 p.m., the Brooklyn Nets are trading James Harden to the Philadelphia 76ers for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 future first-round picks. The Nets will get the Sixers 2022 first-round picks for this next draft upcoming, fully unprotected, with a right to defer it until 2023, and a 2027 first-round pick that's protected 1 through 8. The 2027 pick would then roll over to 2028, protected 1 to 8, and then after that, it just turned into 2 seconds and $2 million in 2029. The blockbusters happened. What else is there to say? They called Morey a madman, said he won't be able to get it done. A Ben Simmons for James Harden swap. They said they wouldn't be able to get a superstar for Ben Simmons, whether it was Harden or Dame. And he did it. He got it to work. I mean, he waited to get his guy. He waited for one of them to become unhappy with their situation. We've heard reports over the last, week or two that Harden has been unhappy in Brooklyn. And Morey stepped in and said, let's get a deal done. There was rumors that, apparently they weren't actually in talks, and they were, then they weren't. And now it was like all of a sudden like, oh wait, the deal might get done today. And then, the Woj bomb hit the timeline. And it was like, oh shit, like it's going down. What else we got here for this trade? So yeah, let's look at the starting lineups. So let's look at both teams. So the projected starting lineup for ESPN, if Kyrie plays, so when they're on the road, you have Kyrie, Seth Curry, Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, and LaMarcus Aldridge. And for Philly, you have Harden, Maxey, Danny Green / Matisse Thybulle, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid. Additionally, with this trade, James Harden is now opting into his $47.3 million player option for next season. Overall, what are my thoughts on this? Let's start with the Philly side of things. I mean, we were sitting here thinking about how maybe they're wasting Joel's prime with Ben Simmons not playing, and they need to get a deal done. Well, they did it. They got their guy. Morey got his guy, and they got their guy. Joel has a superstar teammate. They still have Tobias Harris contract on the books, which there was rumors that was going to get moved, but I really doubted it. I just didn't think that anyone would take that salary dump. But, like I said, you got your guy. What does this mean overall for Joel? I mean, the guy was already playing like an MVP. Honestly, could have won it. Still a chance he does. It will be a little more difficult now that he's got a superstar teammate alongside of him, obviously. But there's still a good chance they do. He does, especially with, the Sixers probably going to... They should be even better than they just were. What else does it mean? It means that you have a chance. The Sixers, you're going for it all, man. I mean, good for them, all in. They've been, like Doc Rivers told them before last season, the process is over. Now it's time to focus on trying to win. And that's exactly what this is. The process is over. James Harden's here in town. He ain't getting any younger. And he's here for this season and next season. Because, like I said, he ain't hitting free agency. Hold on, another tweet came through. Okay. Cool, nothing relevant. And what else does this mean? Tyrese Maxey, you got to keep him and Matisse Thybulle. So that's fantastic. Your 2 standout young guys. And the thing is, though, for Maxey, this definitely diminishes his role. But it's just one thing you have to deal with when you're trying to win it all. People have to make sacrifices. Joel's going to have to make a sacrifice. Harden's going to have to make a sacrifice. Which is how it's going to be, man. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do. You got your guy. You went out and got him. I was in class, and I didn't see the trade come through at first. It took like 5 to 7 minutes or something like that. And then I looked down at my phone because my class was about to end. And I was like, oh, it happened. They actually did it. Now moving on to the Brooklyn side of things. I mean, overall, you can't complain with the haul they got. Seth, Ben, Andre, and 2 future first-round picks. Okay, another move just made. It was just a waving. So you can't complain about the haul. But with that said about the haul, I do think this is a big W for the Sixers. I'm not saying either team won or lost the trade, but the fact that you got James Harden for that cheap, especially with what what the Nets gave up for him last January, this is a W. Looking at the lineup, like I said, Kyrie, Seth, Durant, Simmons, LaMarcus. I mean, like, it's good, and you definitely deal with your issue of lack of defense by picking up Ben Simmons. That's for sure. The issue is obviously you still have the problem of Kyrie not playing at home. So, and you know, if you play the Raptors in the playoffs, he's not playing there at all. He's not playing on the road. So you're just him there. So it's like you have that. We've also seen some issues over the last couple weeks that the Nets struggle with spacing. This doesn't exactly help it. Obviously, Seth Curry does, but adding Simmons and Drummond to a team that already can't space the floor isn't the biggest win in the world. But you get another playmaker. You get another guy that's going to be able to play make, especially with Kyrie out. I'm assuming you move Kyrie back to his primary position of point guard when he's actually there. Simmons kind of plays more like a 3 or a 4 on this team, with obviously the ability to completely run the offense. You probably see Ben Simmons coming back in the next couple weeks, because, like, I mean, you might see him play soon, but there's a good chance that, you know, he takes like another week or two, and then all of a sudden he's coming. So I would put my money on that and give him another couple weeks, and then he'll be here. So probably the end of February, but after the All-Star break, he'll probably be playing. Seth Curry is a net. Yet again, like I said, with the spacing thing, he's obviously one of those guys. He's going to help you out big time. Also, it is kind of interesting. So, you know, he no longer gets to play for his father-in-law, but I mean, it's a business. But overall, I like this trade for both sides. Ever since it was rumored that Simmons could end up on the Nets, obviously it originally started this off season where there was like, oh, we found out Kyrie couldn't play. It was like, oh, maybe we'll see a Simmons for Kyrie swap. But no, they got a Simmons for Harden swap, which is even crazier because, like I said, I mean, who could have imagined? Like I said, I don't know if I'd say either team walked out of this the major winner. I wouldn't say one team like completely beats the other one, but I do like how, like I said, cheap the Sixers got Harden for, and then the Nets didn't walk out of there with a bad return in general, so you can't really complain about that. The Sixers, like I said, they're going all in. Definitely a championship favorite out east, especially now that Embiid has a second star. And for the Nets, I mean, you gotta hope. I do believe that they'll pay like the fine that's going to cost to get Kyrie to play in the playoffs. Like, you know, you can pay the fine to have him play at home. I feel like they're going to pay it once we get to playoff time. But you better hope that they do if you're a Nets fan, because you need Kyrie if you're going to try and win a championship. Also, another unrelated/related aspect of this trade is Houston. Because obviously the Nets gave up so much to get Harden. I mean, the Rockets still walked out of there with a solid haul of draft capital. So this move could definitely still benefit them in the long term even more. Like, if you would have said the same thing when the trade went down, obviously people were believing that the Rockets got fleeced. Now there's a good chance that, like, it's not looking so bad for them, honestly. I mean, it wasn't ever bad, but this just kind of confirms that. Overall, so for these two teams, the Nets and the Sixers, I'm happy they actually got a deal done. There was a lot of smoke screens, and a lot of people, myself included, believed that Harden and Simmons would still be on their same teams, aka Simmons and the Sixers, and Harden on the Nets past the trade deadline. So the fact that they actually got the deal done today is dope. And this was a crazy trade deadline. Like I said, I'm going to talk more about this in another one. But this was a huge blockbuster. And I'm happy to see that it actually went down. And I'm looking forward to seeing Ben Simmons play basketball again and Harden on a new team, and just see how him and Joel Embiid gel together, as Embiid is in his prime and is playing an MVP candidate, and he got another superstar to play alongside of him. And both teams will be competing for a title, and I would love to see a playoff series between these two teams. And that'll pretty much do it for me. Let me know what you guys think about this deal in the comment section below. I'll see you guys next time. There will be a full trade deadline breakdown video coming in the next couple hours. I'll see you guys then. Thanks for stopping by. Enjoy yourselves. Peace.